Good Friday afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Alexa Frischler with WWL Louisiana in New Orleans. The time is just about 4:15 Central Time. We are talking about the tropics. Tropical Depression 2 has officially developed. This will soon become Tropical Storm Beryl, either later today or early tomorrow. So this is what we have for you right now. Tropical Depression 2 has developed in the central Atlantic Ocean. This is way far away from any land areas right now, basically in between South America and Africa. But it is taking on this better structure and is now being classified as a tropical depression. It is moving west at 17 miles per hour. It does have a well-defined center. The National Hurricane Center has been investigating this, and they have found that the center is well-defined. It's having a better structure to it, and right now it has sustained wind speeds at 35 miles per hour. Wind gusts are at 45 miles per hour. So it is just shy of tropical storm strength. I'm sure either later today or early tomorrow, it will become our next tropical storm of the season, which it will take on the name Beryl. So let's kind of walk you through what's going on with this and what you can expect getting into the next several days. You know, developments this early in the season, so late June, out in the main development region in the tropical Atlantic, a little unusual. So conditions are certainly very favorable for this to develop. We're seeing some weakening wind shear that's going to be taking shape in the next several days. Also, we've got the record warm sea surface temperatures out in the Atlantic. So this is what we have for you as we finish up the month of June. So this is the official coned track getting into the next several days. It is expected to strengthen to a tropical storm either later today or early tomorrow. And then it will maintain its strength as a tropical storm, Tropical Storm Beryl, as it moves westward. And it's expected to strengthen to a Category 1 hurricane either late Sunday or early Monday before it's projected to move into the Caribbean. So by the time it moves to the Windward Islands, the Lesser Antilles of the Caribbean, it may be either a Category 1 or a Category 2 hurricane. So it is set to strengthen before it reaches the Caribbean islands, getting into early this week, probably Monday timeframe. And as it continues to move west into the Caribbean, getting into the next several days, early next week, getting into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, it may continue to strengthen to a Category 2 hurricane and continue to move westward towards further westward into the western part of the Caribbean Sea. So this is a long time we'll have to kind of track this, but getting into the next couple of days, if you have any travel plans in the Caribbean, the Windward Islands, the Lesser Antilles, getting into Monday and Tuesday of this week, they will be seeing some impacts in the Lesser Antilles. So something to definitely keep in mind if you have travel plans down there, if you have any family or friends in the Lesser Antilles, make sure you give them a call and they know that this is headed for them, because this is going to bring hurricane force winds, heavy rain, strong winds, and some storm surge potentially for the Lesser Antilles by Monday, so the early part of this week. And again, it's going to continue to move west through the Caribbean Sea through Tuesday and Wednesday, closer to the Dominican Republic and into Haiti by Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll be watching this very closely. Still a lot of time to track it. In terms of us along the Gulf South, there are no tropical threats over the next week. This is just something we'll be watching for the Caribbean, and then over 1 week from now, we'll see where it goes. Models still kind of diverging on where it eventually goes. So we'll give you kind of two ideas of what's going to happen over the next week. This is the GFS forecast, giving us what it will look like later this weekend. This is Sunday in the afternoon, strengthening possibly to a Category 1 or Category 2 once it moves into the Windward Islands, the Lesser Antilles by early Monday. And then it continues to push west through the Caribbean, and the GFS keeping it on this kind of northwesterly track by Tuesday and Wednesday of the new work week. So that is going to bring quite a bit of heavy rain to parts of the Dominican Republic and Haiti by Wednesday, and it may move into Cuba by Thursday. But this will certainly change up quite a bit, this forecast, because We're still going to track its intensity and also the steering currents. We'll be seeing how this exactly plays out. So this is just one model run to give you an idea. By this time next week on Thursday, which is the 4th of July, it's still going to be in the Caribbean, and it may have time, or it may kind of struggle to kind of maintain its strength later next week. So that's one model kind of thinking getting into the next 7 days. Another model, this is the European model, has a similar, of course, outlook getting into the next several days for later this weekend, strengthening to either a Category 1 or maybe a Category 2 as it passes through the Windward Islands, the Lesser Antilles of the Caribbean, and then it kind of continues to push it on this westward track, more so a little bit farther to the south than the GFS model does, and this kind of keeps it westward all the way into almost the Yucatan by next Thursday afternoon. So the models, the big global models at least, are not in perfect agreement on where this is going to go. Of course not. It's still several days away, so it's going to, of course, change up quite a bit. Now we've got this area of high pressure that's going to be building over the Gulf South getting into early part of this work week. And if that's very strong and that kind of maintains its strength over the Gulf South next week, that will help to push this westward into the kind of the Yucatan Peninsula area later next week. But if the high pressure over the Gulf South kind of weakens and staggers a little bit, this may kind of get pulled up more so to the northwest, closer to Cuba and the Florida Straits. But still a lot of time to track this. Over the next 7 days, we'll have a very close eye on what kind of shakes out with this. But for here in the New Orleans area, the Gulf South, there are no tropical threats to worry about over the next week. So getting into this weekend, don't have to worry about anything going on in the tropics. It's just not until maybe next Thursday, Friday, we'll see where this kind of ends up. So definitely stay tuned for the latest forecast to get you the latest on what's going on with eventually Tropical Storm and maybe Hurricane Beryl. Also out in the tropics, we've got Invest 94. We've been talking about this the last several days. It's this area of disorganized showers and storms in the western Caribbean, and that's projected to move west into the Bay of Campeche, the southwestern Gulf, by later this weekend. So that's going to bring quite a bit of rain to Central America and Mexico this weekend, and that will move into Mexico by Monday. So that stays away from us as well. So in addition to Tropical Depression 2, which will eventually become Beryl, right behind it, it kind of has like a tail, a buddy, or another tropical wave that looks like it has maybe a low chance for development now, but it's going to kind of follow in the footsteps of Tropical Depression 2. So we'll watch that closely. But really the biggest thing is Tropical Depression 2 we'll be watching over the next week. So we already checked one name off the list, Alberto. We already did that. We'll probably see Beryl being officially named either later today or early tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in to the WWL Louisiana Digital Stream. We'll be here for the WWL Louisiana News at 5.